Okay, a bit more algebra. First we're going to factorise x squared minus 12x plus 27. This is quadratic because there's you can tell it's quadratic because there's a squared part, there's an x part, and there's a bit without any x's in it at all. So we open our two brackets like this. X's always go at the front if it says x squared. So x and x. Remember, we want two numbers that multiply to give 27 and add to give minus 12. So let's think about two numbers to give 27. Now we know that because that's positive, these must both have the same sign, so either both positive or both negative. And because that one's negative, it means they must be both negative, because it's impossible to add two positive numbers and get a negative number. So we know it's going to be a minus and a minus. Now think of two numbers that multiply gives 27. 3 times 9 and minus 3 and minus 9 would indeed give minus 12. So it's minus 3 and minus 9. So solve the equation x squared minus 12x plus 27 equals 0. So you'll notice that that is exactly the same as what we had in part A, but the only difference is we've got an equals 0 on the end. Now when you were solving an equation like this, you need to put it into that form. So x minus 3 and x minus 9 equals 0, and the way you solve it is basically think one at a time. What would that x have to be to make this bracket there equal 0? Well, it's something take away 3 has to give you 0, so it's got to be 3. 3 take away 3 gives us 0. So that means x has got to be 3, and in this one here, so I'll write x equals 3 for that one. For that one to equal 0, it's something take away 9 equals 0, which means x has to be 9. So I'm going to put x equals 3 and 9. Part B, factorise y squared minus 100. Now if you look at the difference between that and that, we've got the squared section, we've got a number without any letters, but we haven't got the bit in the middle with x. You don't need that, it's still quadratic. What you need to notice here is that you've got a square number, and this part here is also a square. That means we solve it by knowing the difference of two squares. That's a square, and that's the difference, because it's a minus. So what you do is you open up your two brackets, and the first part is going to be the square root of that, so square root of y squared is y, and then put a plus. The square root of 100 is 10, and then the other one is just going to be y minus 10. Always uses the same format. Square root of the first part goes in the first part of each bracket. Square root of the second part goes into the second part of each bracket, and then one's a plus and one's a minus. It's always the same. And that's that one done.